Planning an entire campaign seems like an overwhelming and daunting task, right? But it isn't. What I'm talking about are tips and tricks every experienced game master knows and uses for crafting amazing role-playing campaigns. I've heard some newer players suggesting homebrewing is difficult. However, not only are homebrew campaigns easy to create, in many cases it may even be easier than just using published material. Notice I said than just using published material? That's because it would be incredibly rare for any DM to adhere 100% to the information in the published adventure being used. And even if it seems like only a small creative contribution, as DM, you'll be making them. This is largely the result of your players making choices that were either not covered in the published adventure or the DM's own ideas flowing out. The short of it is this: let your players help you, even if you don't let them know they're helping you. I'll explain this later. George Lucas didn't write the first Star Wars movie all by himself. He had a lot of help and got a lot of advice from other writers and filmmakers to develop his ideas. As a game master, you'll have a number of players involved in your game. Listen to them. You can copy their ideas without ever telling them. Or if you just sit back, don't hesitate to ask them for ideas. Just don't ever be afraid to improvise and see where the story takes you. For clarity, a TTRPG campaign refers to a series of adventures usually spanning many months, possibly years. This all depends on the length of the connected quest and how often you gather to play. In most cases, your game might see players begin at the lowest levels of skill and continue playing those same characters until they reach the highest levels obtainable. However, that too is flexible depending on the parameters set by your game master. In the very beginning, you really don't need to know the entire story. In fact, when creating homebrew content, I find it better not to. This is something the DM and players will organically create together during their mini-gaming sessions. The Game Master just needs to help guide the story along, keeping the game grounded towards an enjoyable and consistent purpose. Remember, at first you really don't need to know where the campaign will end up. You only have to have a starting place, and that can be as big as your imagination will allow or as small as you can handle. This is especially true for starting DMs. There's no need to overextend yourself. It can be very useful if the Game Master has at least some general theme in mind, something to serve as an anchor for developing material for the adventure. I mean, will you be primarily using undead? Is it going to be an undead-themed campaign? Or will it be savage orcs, goblins, hobgoblins, and the like? Perhaps invading a rural kingdom. Or maybe your players are on a mission to clear uncivilized lands of the goblinoid incursions. Or maybe you have an Underdark campaign in which the players are exploring caverns and tunnels far beneath the surface of their world. Or, as in the case of my current campaign, could your focus be on the strangest of true monsters in fantasy role-playing, the aberrations? Perhaps armies of cosmic horrors are invading from some distant dimension, and the players must figure out how they are arriving and what is bringing them. Now, those are just simple examples where every quest in the campaign would in some way be connected to the overall theme the Game Master has laid out in their planning notes. It's also helpful to keep this very loose and open-ended at first. Remain flexible. As each game session unfolds, your players might be drawn elsewhere. If you've committed yourself to a bunch of material that isn't interesting to your players, you may have wasted your time. Or some DMs might try to force the group, a tactic known as railroading, into a situation that they're just not interested in. Forcing your players down a path that doesn't interest them is often just going to create tension, and there's a high probability it won't be enjoyable for anyone, including you, the Game Master. So how do you create a campaign that is enjoyable? And didn't I start this video by saying it was going to be easy? Look, all you have to do is realize you have a creative team at your disposal, giving you ideas free of charge, and those are the players at your gaming table. After you have the starting point, just listen to your players. As they adventure in the game, some or all of them will typically be unable to restrain themselves from guessing where the story might be taking them. Did the DM just give a clue? Was that NPC important? You might have one or more players who are the natural leaders and try to steer the others one direction or another. What if that direction, that NPC or that other bit of detail wasn't important at all in your planning, but you see the players are becoming interested in it? You can try to steer them elsewhere, or you can help them along on their journey. It would be part of the larger theme you've planned, or it could be a side quest. It might even be a distraction from the main quest which hinders them later. If you need help, simply tell your players. Ask them for ideas. That's perfectly fine, especially for beginning DMs. But if you don't want them to know that you're using their ideas, just listen to their guesses and steal their ideas. You don't have to even tell them you're doing this. And feel free to elaborate on those ideas. Let the story unfold in ways that are a surprise not just to them, but to you. And if you're incorporating their ideas, when they've solved that puzzle, unraveled that plot, or some similar discovery which in actuality you stole from them, they will feel like geniuses and you'll be a hero DM. I began creating my homebrew campaign of Tiratu in the summer of 1989 with one of my closest friends, Paul. Since that time, everyone who has played in my games has contributed something, and I have many huge notebooks full of adventures, maps, backgrounds, and world development, all flowing from those games. My game world feels very alive and lived in because after 3 decades and many gaming sessions, it is. But it didn't start that way. It just started with a simple map, some place names, and a few ideas. You can do the same. Watch your world evolve. Listen to your players, and enjoy yourself. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If it has, please stab that like button and subscribe to catch all my future content. I'm your host, Aten, and this is We Love TTRPGs. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe.